What do weddings, childbirth, celebrations, birthday parties, and holidays all have in common? They're all generally captured by cameras. What is the one thing that can really impact these special moments in our lives? It's the camera quality. So I'm going to explain to you why an SLR camera, such as this, is a much better investment than a point-and-shoot camera, such as this. Now, first off, an SLR camera stands for a single lens reflex. This just means that there's a glass and mirror inside of the camera, and when you look through your viewfinder or on your digital screen, it shows you exactly what's on the other side of your camera. It bounces it back so you see the exact image, how it's going to be put on the film or how it's going to be put into the image that you can put on your computer. Whereas with a point-and-shoot camera, you're looking through a viewfinder on your digital screen, and it's just going to show you a rough estimate of what it's going to look like. Now, I'm going to tell you why an SLR camera is your best option and your best investment in the long run. You're going to be getting quality with an SLR camera. Have you ever heard of megapixels? Well, megapixels are very important. With an SLR camera, you're generally going to be at about 15 or more megapixels, whereas with a point-and-shoot camera is usually around 8 to 10 usually. Megapixels are important because they are tiny dots of information on a digital photo. So that means that the more megapixels, the larger and clearer your image is going to be. Also, your image sensor is also another important thing on quality. When you have a point-and-shoot camera such as this, your image sensor is probably going to be close to this size inside of this little box. Whereas with a SLR camera, your image sensor is probably going to be about that big. So it's going to be about 3 or 4 times bigger. That improves your quality and makes your picture much more vivid. So you want a bigger megapixel and you want bigger image sensor. Your next important part is going to be versatility on a SLR camera. Versatility just means that on this camera, you have interchangeable lenses, so you have options for shooting portraits. You can get portrait lenses that are real good about focusing on the person and blurring out the background, or you can get macro lenses, which is what you would use if you want to see every little line on a real up-close part of a leaf. You also can use this with a professional setup. You can use it with beauty dishes, or you can use it with lights, professional lights, or you can use it with strobes. All of the things that go with a photo shoot, which you can't do with a point-and-shoot camera. So basically, to you as the consumer, this just means you have a lot of options for personalizing your SLR camera. One of our last important points, one of our big selling points, would be our longevity for an SLR camera. Meaning that on an SLR camera, they generally last a lot longer than a point-and-shoot camera. Your point-and-shoot camera isn't going to be as durable. It might scratch easier, dent easier. Your zoom on it a lot of times gives out, and I've had personal experience where it just kind of fails after a few years. So long-time durability, you're really going to get that on an SLR camera. While an SLR camera has many more advantages, one of its big disadvantages for some consumers is price. Your price is going to be a little bit more costly, approximately $500 plus for a good SLR camera, whereas a good point-and-shoot is probably going to cost you about $150 or so. But in the long term, your advantages really outweigh your disadvantages when it comes to the price. You're buying something that's going to be a long-term option opposed to just being discarded after a year or two. So, after all, you don't want to miss out on any of your important life moments. So, just invest in a really good SLR camera and you'll save in the long run, because after all, once an important moment passes you by, you'll never get it back. So make sure you capture it with a very good camera so you can look back on those memories.